Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Slow Motion Broadcasting. And tonight we are bringing you Sim Racers Group F4 Immediate Racing League here today from the virtual track in Spain called Circuit de Navarra. Tonight in production, Adam Thompson, as always, and joining me in the commentary booth, Daniel Hall. Daniel, we've had some spicy races this week this season. And here we are coming to Spain, and it is coming down like buckets. What do you expect we're going to see tonight?
Yeah, I think this race is going to get really interesting with this rain. This forecast is going to have these drivers on edge the whole time. They're going to have to deal with car control issues and probably avoiding some of their competitors. But should be exciting, and looking forward to it.
Definitely going to be exciting as we're going to come across our point standings right now for our Inter 1 class. Leading the points right now is Alex Velasco with 134 points. Then you got in the second spot is Varun Bali with 126. Kalen Mikowitz in the third spot with 90 points. Danush Paborgi in fourth with 89. And then you got a tie for the fifth spot with Josh Corwin with 78 and Tyrone De Silva with 78 as well. Then we're going to jump over into the Inter-Alien class, and we'll quickly go through that as Stephen Case is the only car in that class leading the way with 175. In the Inter 2 class, we got Chris Wang showing the way right now with 146 points. Jose Navas Molina with 119 in second. Rafael Cardenas with 94 in third. Kulkaran Dillon in the fourth spot with 71. And just 1 point behind him is Thomas Bashir rounding out those top five. All those points are over the season with 2 drops. So we've got 3 weeks left. This is our race number 7, if I remember correctly off the top of my head. And we are right now in qualifying. As we are on board with Igor Grunsky right now, coming around down the front straightaway, it looks to be. And this, Daniel, is going to be an interesting circuit for us tonight. This is just about a 2.5 mile circuit, 15 turns. And this is probably, we were talking earlier, this is probably going to be one of the spiciest areas we think right here.
Yeah, this turn 1 sections, turn 1, 2, and 3 really is going to be really interesting. As you can see, Igor taking it really conservative through here. He knows that the grip level is not going to be very high and can really catch you out if you're not careful. But yeah, this 1, 2, and 3, that's going to be the problem spot. And then we're heading down to turn 5 and 6, which might also be another spot similar to what we had at Oschersleben a couple weeks ago. That triple apex section. This one kind of a sweeping left-hander and then a tight left-hander right here to exit this section. So expect a lot of action there, and should make for some interesting moves. Possibilities.
Absolutely. As we're still on board with Igor, coming into turn 8, and we're going to head down the back straightaway. This is where there's going to be good opportunities for getting some draft. These guys do love to get some draft off of those planked 2x4 wings that we have on these cars. Igor coming down the back straightaway, hard under braking here. This is where a good opportunity is going to be to wreck or to make some passes. Igor gets it slowed down just enough that he stays on the track into turn 9, into the slow turn 10. Turn 11's really odd angle. It's like a 140 degree turn to come back at you just a little bit. It's not like a complete hairpin. And then you got turn 12, which is a right angle turn. And then just a nice little short shoot into turn 13, which is another kind of an odd angle. So it's coming into that final section here. This is going to be a real tricky spot for these guys. Then a little bit of a kink into turn 14 where you really got to carry that speed, hit that inner apex just a little bit, and then you got to set up for that final turn, race turn 15, hard under brakes, but you want to make sure you carry a lot of speed and you want to get down this long front straightaway. And that's basically a lap with Igor. And we were talking about being the commentator's curse and maybe having that guy at the ride along come off the track and not get a valid lap, but Igor coming across the line in fourth right now with a 207.62. So Daniel, this, like we said, I think qualifying is definitely going to be just somebody who survives and just tries to get a lap in to really get a qualifying time in.
Yeah, this is such a long lap. There's so many chances for mistakes that you really just need to throw a lap together. And if you do that, you might start up in the top half, maybe. If half the field doesn't complete a lap, you'll be in a good spot. So, yeah, I think early on in this qualifying session, for sure, you gotta just get a lap in, and then once you set that, you'll be in a good spot. So we'll have to see who takes advantage of that and who maybe falls prey to the rain.
Yeah, and the tire model on these F4s is definitely one that does take a lap or two to really come in, to really start getting some good traction. So these guys are coming around for about their second lap right now as we're nearing the 6-minute down mark. This is a 15-minute open qualifying session for these guys. Open qualifying means everybody is on the track. This is a good opportunity to catch some draft from somebody in front of you, get a little bit more speed down the straightaway, but this can also give you problems where you run into somebody and ruin your qualifying session. But one nice thing about the SRG League is it is no damage. So if you do get wrecked by somebody, it just magically reappears. All those little gremlins come out and put those wings back on, and we are good to go. So we are watching right now. We're watching the internet sensation, Danush Paborji, out there in the 0:23. Danush sitting in that second spot right now, 201.6. Good lap from Danush, but sitting on the point right now is the 222 car of Chris Eggert. Chris is the fastest car on the track right now, but you got Stephen Case, our inter-alien, with 2 green sectors. Igor also with 2 green sectors. So we'll have to see how these guys are able to go. Stephen Case comes by with a 201.36 to put him second overall, able to move up. Embriette Hyde with 3 green sectors for her, looking to lay down a decent time. Billy Campbell Peach does a good job, comes across with a 214.5. Embriette coming by the stripe this time by, let's see what she's able to get with a 212.5. So everybody's starting to get their clean laps in. I'm guessing their first laps were invalid. So we'll have to see what's going on. Oh, we got a flyer right there.
Yeah, I don't know who that was, but they came in hot, and they were not gonna make that corner. Is this gonna be? I don't think this was it. It was a red and white car, but that was car 9. Now we're on Diego.
Might have been Aaron Van Wagner.
Yeah,
I think it was something like we did at what was the track where everybody was doing like a full send on the finish line, that they're just coming in hot through 1, coming into 2. Nope. No. Our production guy is on the point right now. He is trying to find the lap. He is bound and determined to find this lap where Aaron is the one making the mistake. Not that Adam has ever made a mistake in his life. Aaron's about to do one right now. Coming down the front straightaway. Into turn 1. Just misses it. Completely misses it. He was tucked into that draft in there, and he just couldn't see where he was going, Daniel.
Yeah, it looks like he maybe got too close and carried more speed than the car in front, and that caused him to have to take a evasive action. And once he got out there on the curbs, and it was just more puddles than he was expecting, and just went right around.
So we got just over 9 minutes down. Still got about 6 minutes left to go. We still have Chris Eggert leading the way right now with a 201.2. Stephen Case in that second spot with a 201.3, and Danush with a 201.6. So your top 3 right now separated by 0.4 of a second. Super close battle right now as we're on board with Joshua Corwin to come down the front straightaway one more time to try to get scoring. And let's see what he does, and puts him up into the 8th spot. Danush Paborji with a purple first sector, but he's got a couple yellows after. Let's see if he's able to complete this last sector here with another yellow. And Danush comes by with a 201.7. So not able to improve on his time, but we've got about 5 minutes left to go in this qualifying session. And top 3 still super tight within 0.4. Oh man, Thomas Bashir going airmail.
Trying to find his own line around this track. He was hoping that was paved, and that was not. We gotta look in. Gets through turn 1 okay, but gets out on the curb, and yep, just as he touches the brakes, just breaks the rear traction too much, and around he goes.
So is it an off track if you don't touch the grass? If you fly over it and land on the other
But
side, is it still an off
I,
track?
I think he hit the grass first and then launched over the rest of the grass. So I think
Okay,
that was still going to be an off track for him.
just checking. So we got about 4 minutes still left to go. Everybody's kind of just settling in right now. No real changes up top. We've got Chris Eggert on the point, Stephen K second, Danush in third, and then Ope Oladipo in the fourth spot. Kalen Mikowitz in fifth, Varun Bali in sixth, Tyrone Da Silva seventh, Alex Velasco eighth, Josh Corwin ninth, and Chris Wang in the 10th spot. As you see, a couple cars running nose to tail. As we're closing in on the end of qualifying, you definitely want to get separated out, especially if you don't have a lap. Aaron Van Wagner still does not have a clean lap, as we saw him go full postal into turn 2 and airmail it into that section. So he's still looking for a clean time. As we're watching Billy Campbell Peach in the 9.5, getting a little draft down that front straightaway, and we got a car coming out of pit lane. This could get a little tricky coming into turn 1. We really got to think about too, Daniel, is the spray on these tires. We had a rain race a few weeks ago, and it seemed to be actually a pretty good race for these guys. But we did have that one section where, like you talked about earlier, where it was a lot of issues with guys just trying to carry way too much speed. But we'll have to see what these guys can do this week.
Yeah, and you mentioned that spray. That's going to be really critical, especially at the start of this race. So we see two cars going side by side. That's not going to help their qualifying laps, but good practice for the race maybe. But yeah, going back to that spray, really cuts down on the visibility and really makes it difficult if you're racing in a pack. So you got to be really cautious when you have that, and really trust your other drivers around you to know what they're going to do, to kind of expect them to be on the racing in the racing line they're in, and hit their braking points. So that'll be something to look for in the first lap as we see the 023 of Danush get on the curb and go around. But yeah, the rain definitely going to be a factor tonight.
Yeah, it is not planning on stopping at all. So it's definitely going to lead to some spicy racing tonight, as we got less than 2 minutes left in qualifying. Nobody really crazy quick right now. Diego Posada with the green sector 2 coming around the last section right now, and we will have to see if he's able to get a better time, and it does not look like it. So looks like everybody's kind of settling in, maybe trying to separate themselves for this last lap. Try to get that one final lap in, try to get one good clean one in. Joshua Corwin in the 037 with a green sector 1, but a couple yellows after that, as we're watching Diego Posada right now in the Lewis Hamilton replica, and doing what Lewis does not do, and miss a turn like that. But everybody right now in those yellow sectors, nobody really looking much improvement.
Looked like a really tight, almost contact there between Danush and the 6 car of Aaron Van Wagner. So that was probably going to hamper his lap a little bit this time. He sends it into turn 1. You can carry speed. You just got to be really have a lot of trust in your brakes at that point.
Yeah, you want to make sure you get your brake balance right too, because when it starts getting wet, you definitely want to move your brake balance a little bit. Try to keep from locking up those rears. As you saw, Kalen really coming into that turn 2 section sideways, able to pull it back in, and he is going to have an invalid lap on this time by, as we're 15 seconds left, so you better get across the line as quick as you can, but I do not think anybody else is going to be coming across to start a lap, as it looks like a lot of the guys are in pits. They are going to call it, but time is running down now, so we got the last few guys running around. Nobody on super fast laps. Alex Velasco with a green sector 3. Alex coming by the stripe, and looks like he did improve. He's up to the 4 spot now. So Alex Velasco jumping up into 4th, up onto that 2nd row right now. Stephen Case out there still. Jose Navas with a green sector 1. And it looks like Jose coming down the front straightaway to see what he can do. Comes across the line. And let's see, timing's a little on the slower side. 206.6 for him, so he's still going to stay in that 12th spot. Kalen Paul Mirchek. Overthinking myself here. In the 25, with 2 green sectors, Paul Mirchek sitting dead last right now on the field with 2 green sectors and is coming down the front straightaway in that all yellow number 55. As you see Barney waving that checkered flag. Comes across the line, and Paul able to move up into the 20th spot with a 210.5. So able to jump about 5 spots there on his last lap. Everybody else is looking to be in the yellow sector or yellow times right now. Nothing too crazy as we watch Varun Bali, the last car on the track right now, trying to finish this lap before timing goes away. And he is coming through what looks to be turn 13 right now with a tricky pit lane. So this is one that does have a real tricky pit lane. Luckily, these guys are not going to be coming in for any kind of fueling as Varun comes around the last turn. As we talked a few times, the radiuses on a lot of these turns is really tricky, not what you're used to at a lot of these tracks. So we'll have to see how these guys play. Varun coming across the stripe right now with looks like no improvement. He will stay in that 7th spot. And we've got Igor on the clock, but I don't believe he got around. It should not be as is 53 seconds in. And so we're just waiting on time. He might be just trying to get an extra lap in, try to get a little bit more time on the track as we will wait for scoring to close out. Daniel, that was definitely an entertaining qualifying session. And it definitely is going to lead to some spiciness in the race.
Yeah, we got a little glimpse of what we might expect. Some cars going off, some cars having trouble. Hopefully it all stays clean. I thought Brand's hatch was going to be rough, but everyone got through there pretty clean. So I'll throw it back to you for the lineup.
Here is the grid for week number 10 here at the Circuit de Navarra. On the pole, you've got your Inter 1 driver of Christopher Eggert with a 201.2. Stephen Case, our alien, in that 2nd spot. Then you've got the internet sensation Danush Paborji in the 3rd spot. Alex Velasco qualifying on the outside of row number 2. Row number 3 is Ope Oladipo, Kalen Michaelwitz outside of him. Varun Bali in row 4. Tyrone De Silva next to him. 9th spot goes to Joshua Corwin with Christopher Wang, your first Inter 2 driver, sitting in that 5th row. Then you go to the 11th spot of Ryan Shia. In 12th is Jose Navas. And the 13th spot is Sarab Vase with Thomas Brashear in the 14th spot. Igor Grunsky in 15th. Aaron Van Wagner 16th. Kukaran Dillon 17th. Diego Posada 18th. Billy Campbell Peach in the 19th spot. Paul Mirchek in 20th. Ken Glasser 21st. Adam Duvall 22nd. Embriette Hyde 23rd. Radufal Samudo in the 24th spot. And back on the back row by himself will be Mr. Neil Day. As looks like we have a session where we're getting gridded up right now. And we are waiting for everybody to get gridded up as we watch your pole sitter, Christopher Eggert, in the 222. Sitting on there. This is a standing start for these guys. As you mentioned, Daniel, this could get very interesting with the spray coming into turn 1, 2, and 3, as we're still waiting on one more car to get gridded in. That looks to be, it's Varun Bali waiting in that 7th spot. Just waiting for Varun. And we are getting ready to, here we go. We're going to get 5 lights up here. 2, 3, 4. 5 lights out. Green flag as we are racing at Circuit de Navarra. Good. Nobody really wheel spin coming into that off the starts. Chris Eggert leading him around, getting a good jump on Stephen Case. Paborji up into that 3rd spot right now. Oh, little twitch of the car from Alex Velasco in that 2nd turn.
Yeah, big wiggle there. It's definitely still wet in turn 1 and 2, as it will be all race. So everyone getting through there really nice and clean. I think everybody knows what's up and showing some great patience. As I say something, we get the announcer's curse striking. Looks like Coker on Dylan in the 24. Oh, that started in front of him. There were many cars around. Jose Navas Molinas. Let's see what happens here. Sarab Vaz. He's going to be on the curb a little bit. Doesn't look like that's the problem. But as he goes into this corner, just pushes out a little wide. Gets into Jose. And that collects the 44 of Diego Posada, Adam's favorite driver, dressed up in the Lewis Hamilton scheme. As we see another wreck behind the leaders, that was about third and fourth. Don't know who that was exactly.
That was back in the fourth spot.
Yeah, Alex Velasco here. See, I don't know if this is exactly where it happens. Tight racing.
Ooh.
Oh, yep. He's going to make contact, and that's just going to cause those guys to have some issues. And as you said, the damage gets repaired, so they're back underway. They only lost a few spots, so they won't be too bad in this race. But
yeah, that was Alex and Ope going at it there. Just touched the wheels a little bit. But back up in the third spot, it is Happy Paborgi Day. The DP in the third spot right now. They are coming around for their first full lap. Chris Eggert out in front. He's got about a 1.5 seconds advantage now on Stephen Case. Stephen is one of those guys that likes to lurk there for about the first half of the race and then starts taking off and pulling away. So we'll have to see if he's able to do that. Chris Eggert has been one of the fastest cars since the practice has started and definitely showing these guys the way around Circuit Navarro in the rain. As the top three are starting to really pull away with Eggert, Case, and Paborgi. Then you go back to the 4 spot of Varun Bali. Here's that section we were just talking about, Daniel, is that turn 5. It's one of those ones where you really got to carry a lot of speed. It's like a sweeper on an oval, and it looks like Varun maybe went in a little too hot there.
Yeah, I think there were a couple there, too, that followed him off and just went a little wide, but no more worse for the wear, as they might lose a little time, but overall still going. Let's get a replay. Looks like something else happened. It's Sarab. He's going to lock it up a little bit. And he goes wide. Does Igor goes spinning right in front of him. So that's going to put a damper on Igor's day.
And that was definitely the section you were talking about. That was turn 5 and 6. It's an increasing radius, so it's a really tricky spot where, even on a dry track, these cars, I'm sure, are a handful around there, but in the wet, it's just going to make it worse. We're going to go 3 wide, and luckily they just checked back. As we're on board with Embriette Hyde right now, going off track and letting the 480 and the 3 go by with Tyrone and Igor go by. Tyrone De Silva in the way back in the field right now. It's not a usual spot for him, sitting in the 18th spot right now. He's down 10 spots, so he got tangled in that early accident on lap 1, dropping him down into the 18th spot. So we'll look for Tyrone to make his way back up towards the front as we're about 4 minutes down. We're barely about a quarter of the way through the race. Everybody kind of getting separated. No super close battles right now, except for Stephen Case up front. It looks like it's a lead change. Eggert made a mistake. And Case out in front now. Daniel, let's see what happened with that lead change.
Yeah, we'll get a look here. You can see Eggert's out front by quite a bit. So I'm wondering if he made a mistake. He goes into turn 1, gets through there. Okay, turn 2. Looks fine. Oh, there it was. He pushed out a little wide and got onto the curb, and that just spun him around. You can't really brake on that paint. That's going to be an issue for these drivers. They really got to keep it tight and tidy through there so they can avoid that. But back now, another replay. I think that was Danush giving up the spot to Chris Eggert, and they're still battling, actually. Oh, this was Danush passing Eggert. Yeah, my bad. That was another change for second place, and Chris now down 2 spots in about half a lap. So he's going to have to recover from that and try to get back on his horse and make up ground.
Yeah, that's going to be a great battle up front with Steven, Danush, and Chris going at your top three. Starting to pull away just a bit as we're on board right now with the 8th place car of Ope Oladipo in that multicolored 2, 3, 4 car, tucked in right behind Kalen Mikowitz as they're coming on to what looks to be, that was about turn 13 into 14 right now. Ope, just as you can see, the spray coming off the back of him there. As we go back up front, Danush Paborji coming off the last turn, getting a drive down the front straightaway, going on the inside of Stephen K. Stephen's trying to get a little bit of draft off of him. This could get tricky as they're coming into the section, the turns 1, 2, and 3. You, like Daniel, you're talking about, you do not want to touch that painted area at all, especially for as much as you're leaning on that outside rear tire. And Danush doing a good job staying on the track, not getting into that painted area, not letting the car slide around, holding Stephen Case back as he is out in front. Chris Eggert dropping back just a little bit, about a second back, but look back there in that 4th spot. Varun Bali closing in 4th. As we go back with Tyrone De Silva, we mentioned him earlier. He was sitting 18th there, making a move up into the 15th spot now, Daniel.
Yeah, starting that recovery drive here. Picking them off one by one. He's going to have to run down Surab Vaz for the next spot. He's about a second and a half back, and he'll go there. Oh, no. Is that more trouble for Eggert? I think it is. Yeah, he is tumbling down the order now. He is down into 4th. We'll see what happens here. This is right after that 5-6 section where it tightens up. I think this is getting onto the back straightaway then. Is he going to get, you see the inside curb there. There's a lot of puddling there. And I think the combination of that, along with getting onto that paint, sent that car right around.
Yeah, you can see the puddle coming in on that inside line right here, right? Yeah, nice slow-mo. You see that puddle right there. He gets up on the paint, gets that rear tire in there, and just spins it around. Great job in our production booth to show you that nice slow-motion area there. But Christopher Eggert dropping back into the 5th spot right now. So tumbling down the order. Chris just, and you can just see him. He's like he's overdriving the car now. He's trying to overdo it. He just needs to settle down and get back in line and collect himself. As Ope Oladipo up into the 7th spot, working on Joshua Corwin. As you can see, all that spray coming back to Ope as they come down the front straight right now. Ope trying to get a little bit of draft, trying to work his way up, trying to make a move coming into that turn 1. But as we mentioned earlier, this is a super tricky section. Turn 1 into turn 2, as you see some of those standing puddles as the rain is not let up at all. It has been pouring the whole time. Ope going on the inside of Josh. Josh getting a little late into braking into turn 3 there. Ope Oladipo up into the 6th spot, knocking Josh Corwin back into 7th. As we are on with Embriette Hyde right now in the 21st spot. Looks like Embriette may have had a problem. Let's see what happens here. Getting through some puddle sections. As I was talking about how well our production booth was working. Oh, there we go. Embriette putting it up on the paint area there. And luckily she was able to keep it straight and not spin out. And I think she may have only lost 1 position there. So Embriette Hyde still back there in the 21st spot. But back out in front as we can do our order of all the drivers right now. We've got Danush Paborji in the 023 out in front. In that 2nd spot, we've got our inner alien driver of Stephen Case in the 243. 3rd spot is Varun Bali. So your top 3 are really starting to pull away quite a bit. Back in that 4th spot, about 4 seconds back, is Alex Velasco in the 777. And then you've got your early pole sitter of Chris Eggert in the 5th spot, trying to work his way back through. About 4 seconds behind him is Ole Oladipo in the car number 234. In the 7th spot, you got Joshua Corwin in the 037. And in the 8th spot, you've got your first Inter 2 driver of Ryan Shia. Ryan doing a great job in leading that Inter 2 class, and it's got about an 8-second gap back to the second one. In the 9th spot, you've got Kalen Mikowitz in the 888 car. And then there is your 2nd place car in the Inter 2 class of Christopher Wang in the 14 car. In the 11th spot, Thomas Brashear, another one of our Inter 2 drivers, trying to get a move on Chris Wang. And then Aaron Van Wagner in the 12th spot. 13th spot, Tyrone Da Silva. We were talking about him earlier, working his way up into the 13th spot and trying to get that recovery drive going. In the 14th spot, you got Kulkaran Dillon in the 24. 15th spot, Billy Campbell Peach. In 16th, Jose Navas with Surab Vase in the 17th spot. And back there in the 18th spot is Igor Grunsky. 19th spot, Ken Glasser. 20th spot is Diego Posada doing a little dance for us coming into this last section here. Embriette Hyde trying to make some moves, sitting in that 21st spot. Back there in 22nd is Adam Duvall. Paul Mirchek in the 23rd spot. 24th is Neil Day, and he's sitting 24th and is made up one position, so doing a good job. And Rudy Samudio is not on the track. So we're back out front with our top three right now, Daniel. No real change up front. Danush still leading the way, Steven in second, and Varun trying to make his way back up in third.
Yeah, he wants to put the pressure on Stephen Case, see if he can't make a mistake or get around him for that second overall spot. These drivers obviously not racing for position. As we see Stephen Case, I think he got a little bit aggressive on using that curb, and that almost sent him around. But his car control's just on another level and able to keep that car keep it pointed in the right direction at least. As we get back onto the front straightaway, he's going to hold on to second.
You can see the gap right there as we had the gap between the second and third, as Varun Bali has definitely closed that gap between Stephen Case now. 1.3 seconds separating your second and third place cars. So Varun actually doing a really good job, up 4 spots from his qualifying spot. That's one of the top gainers from this qualifying place. As you can see, a lot of these guys coming out of these turns, chasing the tail end around. This is definitely a track you want to be real soft-footed on your throttle, have that egg kind of planted under your foot so you're not squeezing the throttle too hard. This is going to be a good practice for these guys if they're going to be doing the Bathurst 12 hours this weekend, getting used to this rain as it seems to be predicted for that race as well. It's 13 minutes down. That's going to leave us with 7 minutes still left to go. So these guys got about another 4 laps of racing. Everybody pretty spread out. So our closest battle right now. Oh, Velasco getting up into the 3rd spot. Stephen Case dropping back to 4th. Not sure what happened. You got Varun Bali up into 2nd, Velasco into 3rd, and Case crashing and dropping back. So not sure what happened as we're working on that right here, Daniel.
Yeah, we'll get a replay of what happened with Stephen Case. He goes through turn 4, heading up to 5 now. Yeah, he's going to have to deal with that different radius turn. And yeah, just overcooked it and slid. And I don't know if he got a puddle or just got those tires too hot. But that's going to cost him a couple spots as he's going to have to go back to work and get by Alex Velasco and Varun Bali if he wants a chance at Danush, who's now pulled out to almost a 4-second lead. And that's not going to help him. He goes wide, I think, to avoid the car of Alex Velasco. As we see Chris Eggert. His pole run not helped out by that. Goes around and he's going to give up 3 or 4 more spots as he's down to 8th now. Yeah,
tough break for Chris. He had a great start to the night. Fastest in qualifying on the pole, and it just seems to be just spiraling downhill for him right now as the rain has not let up. As Stephen Case looking on the outside of Varun Bali into turn 1, cuts down. Whoa, man, real close to that front tire. And Stephen Case going by Alex for that 3rd spot. Goes off track just to try to hold it together. And they're coming around turn 3 into turn 4 right now. So you've got Alex Velasco back into the 4th spot. Ope Oladipo not too far back in that 5th spot. So good battle going on. But here's our recovery drive guy, Tyrone Da Silva, trying to work his way up. We saw him earlier in that 18th spot. He's up into 12th, trying to make that move. This is that tricky turns 1, 2, and 3. It's kind of a triple apex section. You really got to watch your braking. You cannot brake with these cars in turns on the wet like that. So Tyrone trying to work on the back door of Thomas Brashear, coming around into turn 5. This is where we saw Stephen Case catch that puddle. With it constantly raining, Daniel, the track is is constantly evolving. It's constantly changing every lap that you're making it around.
Yeah, you got to really be on top of it. Use your eyes, use your butt, use everything at your advantage to see, to feel the car or feel what it's doing. So you get a good look at the weather. But Tyrone making a move on Thomas Brashear, and I think he's going to pick up another one. That's Chris Wang going around into the wall. He's going to get it right and back going, but he's liable to lose another spot to Aaron Van Wagner. So I think Tyrone's really starting to march forward. Saw him down to 18th, now up to 10th. But yeah, Christopher Wang going to try to get that heart rate under control after spinning and just settle back in, take a deep breath, and hopefully make it to the end of this race.
And Christopher Wang dropping back into the third spot in the Inter 2 class. He was running second earlier. Spinning out like that gives the second place now to Thomas Brashear. But Ryan Shia still leading the way in Inter 1, sitting ninth overall right now. So doing a great job. Kind of quietly been racing. We haven't really seen much from him. Just kind of sitting here doing his thing, keeping the rubber side down, keeping it off the painted lines. And I'm hoping I do not give him a commentator's curse here at all. That was a good wiggle coming into turn 1. But great battle right now, up into the 4th and 5th spot. Ope Oladipo up into 4th. Alex Velasco falling down the field, down into that 5th spot now. Ope able to get an inside move as Alex pushing just a little too hard into turn number 6 and falls back even farther. So, ooh, you see Ope getting sideways coming into turn 8 right here onto that back straightaway section. Ope closing that gap on Stephen Case. See what the pass looked like as Ope coming through turn. Oh, and Alex just able to collect it, though. He was not. It was a great job. Great recovery for him. Could have easily spun out there, Daniel.
Yeah, and a little slide job there from Ope as he drove by him. Those guys are really testing the limits of these tires and these cars now. Race is heated up. There's only about 2 minutes left. These drivers are going at it, giving it everything they can. Ope looking to try to run down Stephen Case for that 3rd spot. Yeah, just this whole little battle right here. As you see the great slow-mo shot of the slide. Ope just keeping it off of that curbing. That was probably what allowed him to save it, is now he's putting the pressure on your inter-alien Stephen Case as he looks to the outside. Stephen has to take a very defensive line crossover move, and that's going to put Ope in front of him. Does Stephen have the run out of the corner? I don't think so, and he's going to fall back from Ope into turn 1.
As we are on the white flag right now, this is our final lap. Danush Paborji, the internet sensation, the first sandwich we're going to have at the Slow Motion Broadcasting Deli. Oh, my goodness. Hanging on. Bro, you got a 5-second lead. Just simmer down. Simmer down. So Danush leading him around into that turn 5 section. Out in front, 4.5-second advantage on Varun Bali. Then you got about 8 seconds back to Ope Oladipo. So your top 2 cars out by themselves, out just trying to survive. Ope going way wide coming into turn 5. Let's see what happens here as we got Alex Velasco and Stephen Case running in. This is that turn 5 section. This is, oh my goodness, Alex having a rough night trying to get around here. As we go back up into the 3rd spot, Ope Oladipo in the 3rd spot, does it again, gets that real twitch in that back end as Stephen Case right behind him, trying to get a good draft, trying to get a good run on him. Hard under braking right here. Ope just trying to keep it clean coming into turn 9 right here. Able to correct it just a bit. Hanging on. Stephen Case right behind him as they got lap traffic just in front of him. See if that could make play. Paul Mirchik right in front of him. He does the right thing, moves out of the way, lets this battle continue as we're coming into that last sector right now. Ope Oladipo hanging on to them thing. Stephen Case right behind him, pitching as well as they are looking in that last turn right now. Coming into, that is actually turn 13. This is our last sector now. Still a great battle. Danush Paborji out in front and coming across the line to take the win as he comes down the front straightaway. But we're back on with the third place car of Ope Oladipo. Here comes Stephen Case with that high-low, trying to do that switcheroo like Ope just did on the last lap. I don't think it's going to have enough legs for him, as Ope Oladipo got a good run down the straightaway and is going to come across the line into third. Stephen Case will come across in fourth. Good battle. Here comes a whole pack of cars running together. This is your 16th place car of Igor Grunsky in the number 3 car, trying to make a move on Billy Campbell Peach in that 15th spot. This is our next closest battle for what's still live on the track. Everybody else pretty spread out right now with some little wiggles and spin outs, but this is the battle right now we are watching, with 15th and 16th going at it. And also you got Jose not too far back in that 17th spot. So kind of a 3-car battle right now as we are closing in towards that last sector of the track. Billy Campbell Peach in that black 95 holding on. Igor really diving hard into the braking zone, coming into turn 14 right now. Igor trying to make a move on Billy, trying to carry some speed through there, closing in on that last turn. He's going to try to get in there. Oh, hits that puddle just a little bit, pushes him out. Billy Campbell might be able to hang on to that 15th spot. So Billy Campbell Peach going to hang on to 15th. Igor coming across in 16th. Jose not too far back in that 17th spot. So able to make a good run with those guys as we got the last couple cars coming around. Ken Glasser in the 19th spot, making his way around. Everybody else kind of having some of their own battles by themselves. Embriette Hyde got Diego Posada about a second behind her, trying to make a final move as they come around to that last final sector right now. This is coming into turns 13 right now. Embriette in the 93 trying to hang on. Diego Posada, we saw him earlier spinning out and just can't quite close in, as Embriette's going to hang on to the 20th spot. Diego will come home in 21st. Right behind him is Adam Duvall in the 22nd. Coming across the line. Looks like everybody is done. Diego doing, I don't know if that's a victory spin that I survived or a rage quit. I'm not sure what that was, but good move from Diego there. Daniel, let's go across the finishing order here.
Yeah, Danush Babordi taking the win. It's only going to add to the lore of him and his sandwich that we're going to have. Varun Bali in second, 3.4 seconds behind. Ope Oladipo getting by Stephen Case right at the end. That was a great battle. Stephen Case in fourth. Alex Velasco in fifth. Josh Corwin sixth. Kayla Mikewitz in seventh. Your pole sitter, Christopher Eggert, we saw him have some issues there. He's going to bring home eighth. Ryan Chia, your top Inter 2 driver, in ninth place overall. Tyrone DeSilver, what a great recovery drive. We saw him down all the way into 18th at one point. And he finished up in 10th. Thomas Brashear in the 1 car in P11. Christopher Wang bringing home 12th. Aaron Van Wagner 13th. Kulkaran Dillon 14th. Billy Campbell Peach and Igor Grunsky 15th. 16th. Jose Navas in 17th. Sarab Vaz in 18th. As we switch over to the next page of results, we got Ken Glasser in 19th. Embriette Hyde 20th. Diego Posada 21st. Adam Duvall 22nd. Paul Mirchik, Neil Day, Adam Duvall, Paul Mirchik, and Neil Day all 1 lap down, and then Rodolfo Samudio and Atul Ganesh not finishing the race. So that is your rundown of the finish positions.
All right, we're going to pull in our first driver of tonight. We're going to pull in Alex Velasco.
Hey
Alex, that was a pretty entertaining race tonight.
It was a wet and wild race for sure. I'm sure you guys had fun too, but it was very difficult to keep it on the track.
Yeah, this track is one that you really have to carry a lot of speed. It's got a lot of crazy angled turns. That first sector with like 1, 2, and 3 with that kind of double right-hander, and then you go into like a triple left-hander. That's got to be absolutely hairy tonight.
Yeah, definitely carrying speed through the apexes, but even the long, drawn-out turns. So like turn 1 and 2, they're just extremely hard on you because you need to carry that speed, but also slow down for that hairpin right afterward.
So we saw you have a little issue. I think it was early on Did you catch a puddle, or did you get into the paint a little bit, or how was that? What happened to you?
On the lap 1, I had a encounter with another car. It pushed me back a couple places, and from there I just tried to carry my weight back all the way forward. Gained some places off of some cars that made mistakes, and tried to not make any of my own, but ultimately I did not get away with no mistakes.
Yeah, good recovery after that lap 1. Currently, you are standing out in front in the points. With a pretty good showing tonight. I think Varun Bali was in second spot, and he's second in points. So coming into our next race at Satchewing, we could have a great battle for that top spot in points right now.
Yeah, I'm not too worried at all, because if I do win, that means I got to go race up against Steven. And if I don't win, well, that just means I have another season to take a chance.
There we go. That's kind of a win-win, right? Either way.
Right.
So, all right. Well, Alex, great job tonight. Looking forward to seeing you the rest of the season. While you're up here, you want to shout out or thanks to anybody?
Just want to shout out you guys. You guys are doing such a great job. Jason for putting on SRG, and my roommate Kyle for entertaining me while I try to drive during the race here.
And you do mention Jason, who is a little under the weather tonight. So Jason, we miss you tonight. Sorry you couldn't make it with us tonight, but thanks for everything, and we look forward to seeing him next week. Alex, we look forward to seeing you next week, and good luck moving on.
Thanks, gentlemen. Take it easy.
Thank you. That was our 5th place driver of Alex Velasco. Daniel, who do you got lined up?
Yeah, I got our next interview here, Kalen Mikowitz. And Kalen, it looked like tricky conditions out there with the rain. Kind of talk us through your race and how you were able to deal with those tricky conditions.
Oh, it was a rough race. Ended up finishing, 7th? And I kept going off turn 1. There was like a puddle at the exit that I didn't account for. And it just kind of ruined my confidence. And I think I spun there twice. But I think a lot of people had trouble this race. So that sentiment is probably shared.
Yeah, it looked like there was a couple tricky spots out there. You mentioned turn 1. We highlighted that all race, just for as a trouble spot, and you were not the only one to have issues there. But how was the car control? It looked like you were able to catch slides a little bit. We saw some drivers with some great saves. Did you have any moments out there where you really thought you were going around but managed to save it?
Honestly, no. I just went around every single time, but I had to back out of it. I was trying to catch up to Corwin. Kudos to him. I could not catch up at all, and I just kind of decided I would finish the race and not do what I've done every other wet race around here, DQ and smack into people. So
yeah, we saw a couple drivers right there at the end pushing really hard. So sometimes it's good to kind of take a step back and just get to the end. We hear you're an in-house participant at SRG. How does that set you up well for races like this and allow you to succeed?
Well, it's been pretty good. I like the setup that Jason has, the Moza R9s, and it's much better than what I have at home, like a pretty bad Logitech G920. But the times when I've been able to practice, even at home or in-house, I feel I do a lot better. And definitely being here, even talking to Varun, who's listening right now, but he sometimes gives me some tips, and it's good to be able to review things after the race as well and learn what people are thinking and how they take their lines.
Hi, Varun!
Yeah, Adam says hi to Varun there, and well done. We'll look forward to maybe hearing back from you later on this season. Anybody you want to thank or give a shout out to while you got a chance here?
Yeah, shout out to Jason. He's sick right now, but hopefully he enjoyed watching the race from the broadcast. And I know how much work he puts in to keep this league running and keep the quality high and keep the driving standards high. And shout out to my competitors. You guys make me push myself to go faster, and honestly, that's what keeps me coming back here, is just being able to race with you guys. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. Thank you.
Well, that's great, and good luck, and keep bringing home the car in one piece, and you'll do okay.
Thanks, Daniel.
That was your 7th place finisher, Kalen Mikowitz, and Mike, I think that was mostly successful for how treacherous these conditions were tonight.
No, absolutely. It was some great action. These guys did a good job. Speaking of the captain being ill, we also want to give a shout out to Tyler holding down the fort, holding down the SRG store tonight while Jason is on the mend. Look forward to seeing Jason next week. If you're looking for more action here on Slow Motion Broadcasting on Saturdays, we have the Weekend Warriors in the Formula Vs, and the Sundays at 12:45 Eastern. We got the Formula Fords with Ray Esports Racing. More Weekend Warriors on Sunday at 2:45 Eastern with the Formula Fords. And then on Sunday at 8:10 Eastern, XSLR Cross League Racing. This is very entertaining, and they had some real spicy sprint car action. So if you're looking for some good, crazy action going on, make sure you guys check them out on Sundays. Tuesdays, it is American Muscle with nothing but good old Mustangs going on. Randall leading the crowd over there on Tuesday nights. Then if you're still wanting some more action, our Wednesday night racing, Ray Esports Club Racing League, off at 8:30 Eastern. And right behind them is us at SRG Sim Racers Group at 9:45 Eastern on Wednesdays. Thanks for everybody coming out. Thanks for Adam in the production booth. Daniel, as always, thank you for leading me around in commentary. I am Mike Braun. We look forward to seeing you guys next week on a Wednesday Night Racing.